Hi, everybody, and welcome to I Don't Know About You, but I'm Feeling 22 episode of Games My Mom Found. I am Mike Albertin, and who are the Space Marines with me tonight?
Stefan, JD.
Stuart Hughes.
Sergeant Red Fox.
You want to give your real name? That's going to be the show notes.
That's what it says on his birth certificate.
Oh yeah, that is
very progressive.
That is my real name. Sorry about that.
And Stefan, do you want to introduce the lovely game you forced us to play this week?
Yes, we are playing the classic game from the 90s, Doom.
Yeah.
Is Doom like the game from the 90s?
PC-wise, I would say so.
I think there's definitely a period where if you asked anybody to name a game from the 90s, Doom would have been within the first three. It probably still is.
Bill Gates would deny that.
Well,
I mean, other than Mortal Kombat, I mean, what's had a bigger influence, you know?
Mortal Kombat was never on Friends.
The show was on Friends?
The show was on Friends, yeah.
Yeah, this
I went back
podcast.
in time and edited it, so Chandler just kept talking about it.
Hey, you never
Have
know.
you heard about games my mom found?
Well, not that part. I meant the other thing, Doom. Not us, unfortunately. We're not that special.
Yeah,
We don't have time machines.
I recall this joke very clearly because as a kid, I always thought it was so cool that a video game was in a TV show. There's a point where Chandler gets a new laptop and he's using it to help Ross decide between two girls. I think he's using some spreadsheet or something because that's his whole job is spreadsheets.
I unfortunately know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I do the same thing.
And he's like, "What do you use this laptop for?" Mostly, he's like, "I don't know, Doom." And as a kid, I was like, "Whoa, that's a video game! Oh my god! Holy shit!" Talking about video games on TV.
So as a kid, you were watching Friends instead of Gargoyles, or
as a kid, I would get up in the morning and I would watch Sailor Moon and Thundercats and all that shit.
Do your parents' taxes.
And then I would get back from school and I would watch Friends and Everybody Loves Raymond and Scrubs.
I watched all the Friends too with my mom back in the day.
I've seen every episode of Everybody Loves Raymond probably 4 or 5 times.
You need help, sir.
And you know what? That show holds up.
And before we get too far, I just want to give a quick shout out to another podcast called Unboxing Story. It's where they talk about different fiction. They did an episode just recently about C.S. Lewis. If you guys get a chance, please take a listen to their show. Oh, and also, since we hadn't mentioned it yet, the first Doom, the one that we're talking about, is the one that came out in 93, the classic, Ultimate Doom on Steam now, they call it.
Well, Ultimate Doom is the 95 re-release. That has the extra levels.
Yeah, that 4th episode. Ugh.
Do they talk about Everybody Loves Raymond in Unboxing Story? They can't because that's not fiction. That shit is real life.
Did anyone have any memories of this game before we picked it for the show?
Yes.
I know you did.
I definitely do, yeah.
Besides Friends, yes, I've played it a couple times.
Okay, so I'm the only one that, until last year I played it in October, I played it on, but before then I never played it. For some reason, I never got that. Yeah, I was surprised. I mean, I remember being around it, I remember seeing people play it, but I never played it before, really.
Did you ever play like Quake or Wolfenstein?
Never played Quake and never played Wolfenstein for longer than.
That's right, because you were never a PC gamer. I always forget that.
I did play Oregon Trail somewhere. That's cool. Hey, and I played Chex Quest. Does that count? I think that
Oregon Trails is obviously the hardest game out of all of those.
Yeah.
It beats Doom by far.
John Romero quotes Oregon Trail. It's talking about what inspired you to make Doom. Well, I think Oregon Trail came out after, didn't it?
I don't know, but let's look at our handy dandy internet. I will tell you shortly.
There was an Oregon Trail movie. I did not know that. Probably not
a movie, really.
Hey, there was a movie about Doom too. Did you know that?
Oregon Trail came out in '85, so
yes, before Doom.
About 8 years before Doom.
I know, everybody loves Doom. I don't know, and the first episode I do enjoy. I do enjoy the opening. I really enjoy that shotgun. That is just
the shotgun. That's where my love of shotgun started. That game right there.
It wasn't Halo. Yeah, you sure fucking loved it in Halo. We used to play back in the day.
Well, where do you think it started? Doom then transferred.
The Halo shotgun is on a whole different level.
Okay? Yeah, it is.
Doom shotgun is reading a kid's book like Bunnicula, and we'll see if anyone gets the Bunnicula reference. And then you graduate to the old man in the sea. And Halo shotgun is the old man in the sea.
No,
This reference
yeah,
is going to be nothing but like weird 90s shows and movies for me.
That's what the show is.
Reading Vernicula and The Five Chinese Brothers, which was a children's book for some fucking reason, and Everybody Loves Raymond and Scrubs.
And Friends.
And
It was all in the
Friends.
first 5 minutes of this recording.
Yeah.
yeah. Now the first time
You
I ever
guys-
played Doom.
You guys remember Desert Storm? That was cool.
I actually do remember Desert Storm.
What other
God.
like 90s things can I bring up?
Keep going, Stefan.
Desert Storm. No, the first time I played Doom, I think I was actually it came out in '93, and it was probably right before I got my Nintendo 64. So it had to have been in like 95, 96, somewhere in there. So if it's 95, then I was 8 or 9 years old, and I went over to a friend's house who lived 2 doors down. And his name was James, and this was the only time we ever used his PC, because back then, like, I guess PCs were for like spreadsheets and like parents, I don't know, and friends, and
Yes. Just watch Friends and you'll know what old
Not the-
laptops were for.
Not the show, but
yeah,
Just
and,
watch your Friends.
Watch
he
your
was in
friends. Just peek out the window.
was-
Hi, you doing, buddy?
he was in his kitchen, and he was blasting the music on the speakers.
Oh god.
And his mom was like cooking grilled cheese or something. And I went over there. I'm like, so, hey, what's up? What are you doing? You want to hang out? He's like, no, I just want to play Doom all day. And I'm like, what's Doom? And he's like, sit down. And he started a fresh new game. I had no idea what was going on because I'd never played like a first person shooter type game. Well, I guess it's considered that.
Yeah.
And yeah. And the music started and it's coming out, blaring out of the speakers at me. And I am so scared because I saw the zombies, I saw the soldiers, all the enemies. It like freaked me out. It might have been my first survival horror game, actually.
I always wonder
Now that
about
I'm
this
thinking
friend,
about it.
because I also had that friend that I'd go over his house and he would have like they had like a whole big speaker set up around their house, and just whatever he was playing would be playing throughout the house constantly. And I always be like, how are your parents not like hitting you?
it's a little weird when you're going to the bathroom and hearing stuff like that too. I bet.
Playing
No,
like-
I feel like you're referencing a certain house, Rich, that I used to live at.
You know exactly what I'm talking about.
Well, for context, my dad has speakers hooked up throughout the entire house, in the bathroom, the basement,
You were that friend.
upstairs, and he would play music or just random stuff that would ever hook up speakers throughout the entire house. That's the
Yeah,
reference.
and he used to his dad would advertise it to me like, "Hey, man, hey, so when you go to the bathroom, you don't even have to stop technically watching the movie. You can just hear it while you're in there." I'm like, "Oh, great, yeah, that's amazing."
How
Thanks
different
for the
that is
pro
from
tip.
just turning the TV up louder.
You don't have to. Not in this. It's playing everywhere. Okay, back to what you were saying. Sorry.
I'm sorry, I'm just
No,
stuck in a memory now of like walking to a friend's house and the Badger song is playing in full volume.
Badger, Badger,
I would
Badger.
walk
Badger.
500 miles, and I would walk 500 more to play Doom.
It's actually kind of superfluous, but something I used to do at my friend's house with his speakers, we used to connect his speaker to his TV in his room, and we would turn the volume all the way up, and we would
God.
put it next to the window so that whenever somebody like drove by or pulled into their driveway, we would play a part of Pulp Fiction, so you could just hear Samuel Jackson just yell "motherfucker."
You were like a more modern version of Macaulay Culkin in Home Alone. God, oh my God, that's what they should have done for like the Home Alone sequels. Instead of playing the same audio from, I can never remember the name of that movie where he's like, "You filthy animal." They should have just like upped it to Reservoir Dogs or something. It's fucking amazing. All right, Merv, we just have to break in my house. Just break in this house and get rid of this kid, and then like just fucking Tim Roth is on the ground just screaming, "Yes, son of a bitch! Ah, I'm dying." Oh shit, we gotta get out of here, Merv.
Oh,
Why are you French Stuart all of a sudden?
the places we go on this show.
Sorry,
All right.
sorry everyone.
It's okay. That's why people listen to us.
We are 18 minutes in and we have talked about Doom for 3.
And the rest is just 90 references.
It's 10 minutes in. But hey, go listen to this Skype call. I got the true call with the recording.
True. Now we're referencing movies that came out this century.
All right. Well, Doom, like the first Doom is broken up into 4 episodes. If I remember, if my research is correct, the first one came out was like a free shareware used to get people interested. I want to say.
Sounds
Deep
about right.
Dead. Yeah, I remember there being some kind of like dim. I don't know why, but I remember there being some kind of demo for it. I say I don't know why because Doom actually came out about 3 weeks after I was born. So I don't remember much of the release.
I think what happened is they gave away the first episode is what happened.
Yeah. First episode's good though.
Yeah.
I mean, the first episode was easily my favorite of the 4.
Did they give out like the full first episode or just like level 1 of the first episode?
I think it was the full first episode.
I think it was the full first one, yeah.
Can you imagine if a company did that now? Insane.
Oh, man.
Well, they did. Telltale did that.
I guess, yeah, Telltale.
How'd that go for him?
Well, yeah. I didn't say
Look
it
where
worked.
they're at.
Good point, Mike. Moving on.
I mean, because technically the original first game is just episodes 1, 2, and 3.
I guess.
And the fourth one is special.
Yeah, didn't Hitman 2016? You could play the first episode for free for a while.
Probably because that was all.
Actually, what happened, Mike, is it was 3 episodes, and then Ultimate Doom put on the 4th episode.
Yeah,
is what I think.
5.
Yeah,
and that's when you get that's when you could buy the whole set essentially. I think.
Yeah,
at your local Babbage's.
And that was like because there is a story to Doom, despite what people believe.
Yeah.
That was like a slight prequel to Doom 2: Hell on Earth.
There's a story, but it's really only told to you in the very few, like after you beat an episode, there's a page of text, and it's like the text. I don't know
because they knew they were like, the story is the least important part of this game.
I remember reading something from the developers saying like it was all about the gameplay to them, and the story was just sprinkled in for the hell of it. But
it's John Carmack is quoted saying, "Story in a video game is like story in a porn movie. It's expected to be there, but nobody really cares."
There you go. Yeah, especially with Doom. Like even in the reboot, they did the same thing. It was like it was more prevalent, but it wasn't as focused.
What are you talking about? Doom 3 had a great story.
Well, not Doom 3. But...
I know. You meant the second reboot.
Just funny because the guy who's like credited as the writer on Doom didn't go on to write anything else. Like he went on to be like a programmer and designer, Tom Hall. I think he did like some additional writing credits, but they were like, story. Who gives a shit about the story? Kill demons.
I mean,
all this. That's what I'm playing Doom for. I want to go in there, wreck shit, go home.
And those demons are so great too.
I would enjoy Doom more if it wasn't so many mazes. The mazes is what makes me not like things about Doom. Like
that's like 90% of the game.
I know. I got stuck all the time.
It's a very confusing game. Back in the day before smart level design. I mean,
or linear
level design. Yeah.
I mean that's mainly. But especially the opening room. It's just. Even for me, who have never really gotten very far in Doom all the years, I still when I did play it just for the show, seeing that opening room still brings back memories. Even though I don't really remember playing as a kid, I'm like, I remember that room.
I just find it funny because people will I've always heard people compare like the first Dead Space to Doom, and they're like, really? It just like feels very similar. Like the map is entirely different. That game is like that game tells you exactly where you need to go, and it's just a giant maze.
It doesn't if you don't know that you can press the L3 button or whatever, push the analog stick in to get the map.
Did you not know that?
Not the first time I beat it.
I
didn't know that until the very end. I'm like,
how the hell is that?
Okay, so for Mike specifically, Dead Space was exactly like that.
For the first time. I think it was midway through. This is years ago. This is back in 2009, I want to say, or 2008. Something like that. 2009. Yeah, I did not know that button existed for that map. I was watching somebody else play. After I either beaten it or gotten very close to the end, I'm like, there's a map. You can press that button and it tells you where to go. And I was shocked.
I was also always just found that funny because people were like, Dead Space is like modern Doom. And I was like, oh, yeah, I guess. And then Doom 2016 came out and I was like, haha, not anymore, bitches. They came out with a modern Doom.
And it was good.
And it was good, yeah, surprisingly, somehow.
Yeah.
And then
I'm not
came out with a
one
bunch of new games, and they're all pretty good too.
They're pretty damn good too. I'm not one to pre-order many games, but when I heard that Doom reboot was coming out in 2016, I jumped all over that shit. Pre-ordered it, everything.
There are some companies that are like I don't ever, I very rarely will pre-order a game unless it's like a company that I trust to make a good game,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
or like there's a lot of good shit coming along with it. And just id Software is one of those companies. It's like, yeah, it's probably going to be pretty good. They're probably going to spend the time to make it a game that actually plays well.
Yeah, funny enough, surprisingly, when Doom 2016 came out, it had that Reaver statue that has the fan underneath it and the light. It was like the special edition pack. I actually couldn't afford it. And this week, I had enough store credit at my record store, and they had it there, and I was like, hell yeah, I'm getting it. I just beat Doom this week.
The things we do for the show.
Stefan, what did you do this week in 2019? I played Doom, and I got the collector's edition for it. What year is it?
Credit.
Store credit. 2019.
I feel like we have a 90s sitcom reference, but we just can't think of any off the top of our head. But it just seems perfect for that right now.
Yeah. And then fucking Rage 2 is finally coming out too. Like, it is on top of stuff lately.
Oh yeah.
What? You said, what is Rage?
No, I know Rage is. I played.
I was like, what is Rage?
Rich, because you played this game back in the day a lot, didn't you? Even though I have no recollection of you ever really talking about Doom when we were kids. Even though I was there.
Well, I mean,
or was it later?
No, it was earlier. It was actually before I met you when I really first got into it. So I was lucky enough. I didn't have a computer until I was like maybe 12, 13. But I had a sister whose husband had one. So a brother-in-law that had a computer. And he introduced me to Doom, Duke Nukem, the original like side-scrolling garbage.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it was computer trash, but just PC games for the first time. And when I was about maybe 8 years old, I got into Doom, and that blew my damn mind. Like which is weird too, because I used to hang out with my nephews. They were like a few years younger than me, and we somehow turned it into a 3-player game. Like one would open the doors, I would control the movement, and the other one would shoot. And that was my introduction to it. And again, the music, level design, I didn't know what the hell I was doing at 8 years old, but I just knew I loved it.
That's pretty cool.
We'll show my age, because around the same time in my life, I had the same exact experience, but with Battlefield 1942. So, slightly different generation there.
Yeah.
He's a little younger than us.
I'm the baby.
Oh, but as we were saying a little earlier back the first episode, I really do love that last level in the first episode, even when I was playing it for the first time earlier last year, and you run into the two barons of hell when you open that door and they just start throwing things at you. Yeah, I really do like that part.
That's pretty badass, yeah.
That was probably one of my favorite parts of the whole game, because even though like the whole floor is raising up and you got lava everywhere, I think it's lava or something.
I have always had a question about I guess not always, but since Tenacious D Pick a Destiny came out, I've had a question about the Barons of Hell. Were the Barons of Hell the inspiration for the devil in Tenacious D? Because they look exactly like him. Like, this is a homework assignment for anyone who listens to our podcast. Go play Doom and get to the Barons of Hell, and then watch Tenacious D, because it is the exact same character.
Oh, you mean Dave Grohl's character?
Yeah, Dave Grohl, the devil.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. He looks exactly like the Barons of Hell, and I never knew if that was meant to be like a reference or anything.
You know what? It might be less cybernetic.
It means Jack Black. There's no way Jack Black hasn't played Doom.
Yeah, he's a gamer though. So
I'm looking this up. So didn't the Barons of Hell have like curved horns though?
A little bit.
Like
they were
downward
giant red minotaurs with big black horns.
Yeah, they're kind of cool.
I just know they sounded like cows when they died.
They did not like Dave Grohl. It'd be funny if they did just sound like Dave Grohl.
Probably one of the
whoa.
Probably one of the smartest things they do though is they introduce the Barons of Hell as like a boss, and then later in the game they're just common enemies. Yeah. And I've always kind of liked game design how they let you test the waters with figuring out how to beat these assholes, and then later on they're just part of the world.
See, that was very common.
In a
Like
controlled environment first, which is
that
always
was
nice.
right. You get used to their mannerisms and how they
Yeah.
act or whatnot. But that was a very common thing in beat 'em ups back in the '90s too.
Mhm.
You know,
That's true.
That was just a very
playing Captain America, because Captain America actually did that. I think the first enemy became competent later.
That's a very common thing with like older games too. Like you would run into an enemy who's a boss in like one of the first couple of levels, and then later on just a regular enemy. Like the Barons of Hell are not bad when you have a lot of room to run around, but when you're in a tight space, they can rip you to shreds. Which they did to me. Even though I play this game on very easy because I don't like shooters.
Kind of
man.
Like I feel like modern games don't do that as much, and it's I don't know. I like that. I'm like Stefan. I really like that as a like way to design a game. It's like, hey, you're gonna fight. I want to say like isn't it in is it Halo 1 or Halo 2 where like you have to fight the two hunters as like a big boss, and then they're just all over the place later.
Sounds like
I think that's Halo 1. I could be wrong.
I think Halo 2 you fight them in New Mombasa, and then later they're just all over the place. Like I think there's one point where you have to fight like 6 of them at a time. But like when they first get introduced, it's such a cinematic moment, and then later it's just like, oh yeah, it's another hunter.
I have no recollection of Halo 1 at all.
I don't much either.
It's going to be on the show at some point. I'm sure of it.
We have to talk about
the only thing
is in the flood.
Okay, back to Doom.
I just want to talk about Halo.
You know what to do, sir. You know what to do. But one thing you guys like one thing we didn't really mention, but when you first start off Doom and you're playing, and especially one of the big parts about this game is that you do fight a lot of small enemies constantly. You're always fighting I think they're called pixies. Or the imps, not pixies. You fight the stupid pixies.
Hold on.
I don't know where pixies came from.
Where did you get pixies?
I got no idea. I was like,
I listened to a lot of Surfer Rosa lately.
I've listened to a lot of Taylor Swift lately.
Did they look like pixies to you, buddy?
Funny enough, the Pixies would be a great soundtrack to Doom.
Taylor Swift looks like a pixie. They do not look like pixies.
Where's your mind, Mike?
On Taylor Swift, apparently.
Yeah, it is. And
and the devil is sick. If the devil is sick. I really like the Pixies.
But you also fight the shotgun guy. Like I like the shotgun guys that coming around.
Those are the sergeants, right?
Oh, like the possessed soldiers.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Isn't there some kind of? Isn't there like you're on Mars, right? Isn't that the story of the first game?
Yeah.
Yeah, you go to Mars, and then from Mars you go to like ambiguous alien planet, and then from there you go to Hell is the last level. Hell is Inferno. Shores of Hell is like, I think it's called Deimos or something.
Yeah,
something like
that's it.
It's a moon, right? Or is it?
No, it's a space station.
Space station. Okay.
Yeah.
No.
Well, we should play the Doom with the story. Doom
Both
3.
accurate and a fun little reference for me. I'm really proud of myself for that joke. Yeah, it's like Cybertron essentially.
See, I need more story. I think that's one thing that really disconnects me with this game. Even though I know the whole point of the game is get through the level, shoot everything. I need to have somewhat of a reason other than shoot the guy shooting me.
Well, let me ask you this: did you enjoy playing Doom more than you enjoyed playing Star Wars Dark Forces?
No, Star Wars Dark Forces. Even much as I hate certain parts, it was Star Wars, and but even though the game, which I don't understand, Star Wars came out in '95, that I had to use the arrow keys to navigate. Where in Doom came out in '93, and I get to use the WASD keys, which again is the right way to play, and I don't understand why Star Wars was handicapped, and this game was just fine with controls.
Look, it took a long time for WASD to become the standard for some reason.
It's way better.
I don't know why.
Star Wars
really
was
had
a
to
harder
get used
game
to it.
And more annoying, but no, I enjoyed Star Wars more. But that's
Star Wars had a lot more
Wars.
story. Yeah, Doom. You don't play Doom for the story. You play Doom.
You are not playing it for the story.
Yeah, because you got a chainsaw and there's about 1 million demons in between you and a spider, and you're gonna kill that fucking spider. Really?
I don't like.
What? You don't like Doom?
No, I don't like Doom either. But I was gonna wait till later. But since
oh.
But no, I don't like the chainsaw. I never used it.
Chainsaw. It's all right, I guess. Well. It's not meant to be a melee game, It's cool. Like you get some berserk on and punching shit. I mean, melee is not the main forte of the game there.
I'll go out of my way to like beef myself up, get a shitload of health and stuff, just so I can use the chainsaw though.
Hey, but at least I didn't punch a dragon in the face in this game. So
I mean, if you got pinkies running at you, you whip out the chainsaw. I mean, it works in your favor,
The pinkies are still terrifying. Even though like this game's an older game, when if they creep up on you and you're not expecting it, it's still terrifying.
Yeah.
You know what the creepiest Doom I've ever played was the Doom 64 version. It took a darker tone to it. If any of you played that.
Okay, I got a funny story.
I did. Yeah.
Back when I was in, I want to say middle school, I want to say it was like maybe 6th or 7th grade, probably been right after we met. I was hanging out with a friend of mine that I knew from elementary school, and he was playing Doom 64 and at night, and he turned a corner, and all of a sudden a pinky came right at him, and he screamed and threw the controller. I never forgotten that, and then he never played Doom 64 again. Not when we knew each other back then. He's like, I'm done. He shut it off for the night. That was Beyonce, by the way.
Beyonce.
Oh, that shit, Beyonce. Yeah, back when I used to play Doom with Beyonce.
Beyonce,
yeah, then she got a career and shit fell apart.
Yeah. She's somewhat lesser known for being in Destiny's Child. Before that, she was a Doom speedrunner.
That was before YouTube. Otherwise, she would have made a channel.
Yeah, Beyonce was almost the first ninja. Well, other talking about the enemies though, what is everyone's favorite Doom enemy? Because I feel like everyone has their favorite.
Excuse me.
We're all dying.
It's just we're all turning into Doom demons right now. Damn demons. Can't speak. Yeah,
it's starting to burn.
What was everyone's I was just gonna go into like a weird accent now. What is everyone's favorite enemy?
I like the bear to hell.
Hi, I'm Casey Kasem.
These are my top favorite Doom enemies.
Welcome to Watch Mojo.
Oh, wow.
Counting down top 10 best Doom enemies.
That's going to happen.
If there isn't one already.
I promise you there's one already.
I watch videos, by the way, all the time.
I can't, because if I start watching them, then I'll be watching them for 7 hours. I don't even like I sit there and I disagree with the list. And I'm like, that's dumb. That shouldn't be number 1. That's number 3. What are you talking about? That should be like number 10. And then I'll do that for 6 hours and just be mad at myself.
What do you guys think of the Cyber Demon? Anyone have a Cyber Demon as their favorite enemy, even though those things are fucking terrible?
I do like the Cyber Demon, actually.
I think they're cool, but they're not my favorite.
They're cool as hell, yeah. Design-wise, they look pretty damn cool.
My favorite will always be the Cacao Demon, which I think it's actually Kelko Demon, but I always just call it the Cacao Demon.
Caca Demon. That's what I was saying. Yeah.
I like Cacao Demon. It gives them some like exotic flavor.
For me, I'd say
my favorite Doom enemy isn't even in this game. It's in Doom 2. It's the Archvile. The one that summons monsters and fire.
Yeah. The one that looks like an evil Stretch Armstrong.
Yes.
That really does. I've never played Doom 2 either. I have never even touched Doom 2 in my life.
If you thought the first one was hard, Doom 2 can whoop your ass.
Oh, yeah. Doom 2 is actually isn't Doom 2 actually a 3D game?
No,
because Doom 1 doesn't count. It's still 2.5.
I think the first 3D game to come out was first-person shooter. No, that was actually Duke Nukem.
Oh yeah, Quake was id Software's first 3D shooter.
Yeah.
It's just funny because a lot of people like go back and say like, "Oh, Doom was the first like first-person 3D shooter." And it's like, nah, not really.
Yeah, 2.5D. Like, I don't know.
I mean, it's one of those games that tricks you really well. Where like
and one thing that I didn't know about Doom to getting prepared for this episode, a friend of mine who also has a YouTube channel was talking to me about it. Richard Sampson, yes, Sampson's the last name, who actually is a fan of the show. He was telling me how it goes: Doom 2 or Doom 2, Final Doom, and then Doom 64 is like that little like series before they reboot it with Doom 3, which I never knew.
Doom 64 was actually like I thought that was almost like a reboot in a sense.
Yeah, I mean, it's supposed to be the end of this little series, even though if there's no story, how does it? It doesn't matter.
Wow. Fun fact about Doom 64: Gabe Newell actually worked on it.
Really?
Before he was famous, yeah.
For not finishing things.
So. Yeah.
Before he was famous, which was before he was infamous.
But I think we should mention also that the first Doom was actually supposed to be a licensed Alien game.
Yeah, and you can feel it.
Yeah, and you can feel it. And then they decided, well, why would we want to like have no freedom in what we create? Let's just go create our own thing. So they went from Heil Hitler to Hail Satan.
Heil Hitler to Hail Satan. That sounds like the best like 70s 80s action movie of all time. from Heil Hitler to Hail Satan.
I mean they both mean the same thing anyway, right?
It's like Jean-Claude Van Damme versus like these Nazi Satanists.
I think the enemy that annoyed me the most in this game is the specters, the invisible pinkies. I did not like those things. Because I would hear them. I actually played this game with sound.
You know what really annoyed the hell out of me was the skulls, the lost souls.
Oh yeah, those things are a pain in the ass.
They're easy on very easy.
Anything's very easy on very easy.
They're easy on very easy.
Cyber demons are not easy, or the Barons of Hell. Like I think it's episode 4 when you get trapped in a few areas with the Barons of Hell. They fucking murder you.
I've beat a cyber demon with my fist before, and not on very easy.
How?
I was about to make fun of Mike for. Well, the whole game is very easy if you play on very easy, but I forgot we played Stalker on Novice, and we all got our asses kicked constantly.
That game is very good. Like even looking back to Stalker, that game is amazing.
It's stuck with you now, isn't it? It's stuck with you.
Yeah.
It's in your head now.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean that. Yeah. I'm not a big fan of first-person shooters, though. I'm realizing, like, especially not this time.
You never really have been.
No, I never was, and this game just kind of, cemented that I don't like. I didn't enjoy Doom that much. Like, I played through it. I had a couple fun parts, but mainly I was just like, I just want to get this over with. I didn't.
Well,
I had stuff for me.
My view on FPSs have always been like, I don't think most people play it for the story. So when it's injected a bit too much, I think it's overkill, and I think Doom gets it right.
I think that was definitely the case in the 90s and 2000s. I think now, there's a lot of first-person shooters I play now specifically because I love the story. Like Metro. I love Metro's gameplay, but I think the story is also really good.
Yeah.
But that's kind of like one of the higher tier first-person shooters. I would never play I would never get the new Call of Duty because I just need to know what happens to Price. I think he's dead. I think they finished that storyline, but whatever.
Just my 2 cents.
That's where we go in this show.
Yeah. But I mean, Doom is my favorite part of any first-person shooter because every first-person shooter, any good one, I think, has that moment where it's like it presents you as overpowered all of a sudden, and you're just mowing down enemies left and right. Like I love that in any game where it's just like hordes of enemies are coming at you, and you're just nonstop. And
Serious Sam,
that a game.
That Serious Sam was all about that. You're just mowing down stuff.
Oh yeah,
never played that either.
You should.
I've owned it multiple times on different consoles, but I've never gotten anywhere. I never played it.
It happens in, I think every Metro has that moment where you're just like, you're on a minigun and there's just nothing but soldiers or mutants coming at you. And that's all Doom is. Doom is just, you're one guy with a shitload of ammo and there's a shitload of demons in front of you. Deal with it.
Pretty much. I mean, even on very easy, I mean, you do throw a lot of enemies at you, but I saw videos of the other difficulties you get so much shit thrown at you.
You just can't see the screen.
I never used a rocket launcher in this game because I don't like things that hurt me.
So I don't like things that hurt me.
That's why my difficulty was called Don't Hurt Me. I think it is very easy. It's called Don't Hurt Me.
I'm gonna write that down. That's definitely going on a shirt.
I don't like things that hurt me.
I don't like things that hurt me.
Hey, Draw Mike is a Doom guy.
Yeah.
Hey, it could be quotes for the shirt we're making, or you're making.
I need to start,
I shouldn't say we, because I'm not doing anything, but
You're delegating.
You're coming up with quotes, man.
Yeah.
Okay. What was everyone's favorite weapon? I'll go first. My favorite weapon was the plasma gun. Is that what it's called, right? Plasma
rifle.
Yeah.
I love that fucking thing. That was my favorite gun to get. Once I got that, as long as I have ammo, I'm happy to shoot everything.
That's my second favorite. I still got to go with the shotgun, though. It just feels so good. Even now, even today.
Completely.
It feels so good.
Completely shotgun for me, yeah.
It's a really good gun.
Once I get the shotgun like that, I don't really care to use much else unless I'm running low on the ammo.
It's gonna be the shotgun, but I think the follow-up is the BFG.
I don't care for the BFG. I mean, again, it hurtes me.
Well, you can't talk about Doom without mentioning the BFG, though.
Yeah, gotta mention the BFG.
It's iconic, yeah.
I barely, okay, and
the big friendly giant.
For the show, I did in the end of Doom, in the end of episode 4. I said fuck it and put on the cheats and just said fuck it and finished the last few missions because I fucked up in I want to say mission 8 or mission 7. I fucked up and saved midway, and I didn't have enough health to run through the lava pit to get in the portal because I was fighting the cyber demon at the end, and there was nothing I could do. And I'm like, well, I'm not starting this whole episode over again. So God mode, here we go.
God mode.
I was like, fuck it.
PFG nonstop.
As a kid, I abused the hell out of God mode.
Hell yeah.
It's funny because though, like, Doom is set up in such a way that, like, if you cheat, it's like, all right, yeah, that's still the point of the game. It's just kill everything.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You don't really feel like you're cheating in Doom because it's just
But
like, fuck you,
I did
fuck you,
like
Satan.
that there's no jumping in this game, which is I know because it's not a 3D game.
It
Which
depends
is like,
if you're playing with mods. There is.
I had a friend who actually got he was able to convince his grandmother to buy in this game. His grandmother is like very like religious traditionalist,
wow,
and
this game even
because he was killing hell monsters. So he's like, no, Grandma, it's okay because I'm fighting the forces of Satan. And she was like,
He's like,
okay.
I'm doing the Lord's work.
Yeah, that's essentially what he did. And she was like, oh, okay. And so she bought him Doom.
The power of Christ compels you.
even in today's age, like even playing this game now in 2019, it's still a little. I mean, it didn't bother me, but it's still kind of gory. Especially think about '93. I mean, you're shooting the freaking pixie demons, the imps in the face. I mean, you're shooting the shotgun guys. There's blood everywhere. Like when you kill a.
I just imagine butterfly wings out of the imp's back. Like
I can fly twice as high.
It's one of those
I'll
weird
say
things. I've always thought this was weird about gore in video games. So like looking at Fallout, like Fallout 3, New Vegas, those are incredibly bloody games. Like you get bloody mess and people just explode, but it's just kind of like funny because it's just like completely unrealistic. And then for whatever reason, Doom is just like it feels way more gory than most any other game I've played. I don't know why that is.
And even then, the blood is very minimal in the game. I'd want to say, unless something like crumbles, like melts in a pile, like you see more. But otherwise, it's pretty minimal.
I don't know why it just feels so like gory to me. I don't know if it's like the 2D aspect of it, where
there's a lot of gore. It's very violent.
Yeah.
Is it episode 3 or 2 where you start seeing dead bodies hanging from the ceiling, like skeletons and skulls everywhere? Like it gets bad.
Yeah, they're just
all guys on they're impaled, stuff like that.
Yeah,
it's like the only other game I can think of that makes me feel like gut wrenching gore and blood is probably like Tomb Raider, like the new Tomb Raiders.
Wow.
Even they are like mostly like implying blood and gore. It's just like really brutal death scenes. And like something about Doom, it just feels super gory. It's like you shoot the enemy and like they have their death animation, which is like 2 different frames, and one is just them exploding into blood and guts.
Oh, I should actually mention that. Speaking of frames, I played John Romero's Sigil.
Oh, okay.
Oh yes, how was that? I was hoping someone would play it, but I forgot about it.
It was actually really awesome. I enjoyed it a lot, and kind of like how in the animation of Doom, like when you're reloading or whatever, or the shotgun shoots, like it has like those 2 or 3 frames where it kind of shows that it moved or that you're actually reloading or whatever. In Sigil, it actually has enough frames to where it looks like it's actually moving, like it's 3D.
Oh.
It's really badass.
Nice.
That's essentially supposed to be episode 5 of the first Doom, right?
No, what it is
it's a single episode for like Ultimate Doom, basically.
Oh,
right.
It's in between Doom 1 and Doom 2, because at the end of Doom 1, you go into a portal to Earth to protect it from the demons, and then in Sigil, it rewrites that to where a like Baron of Hell or something, some guy, probably the devil, makes
Dave Grohl?
that. Yeah, Dave Grohl. He closes that portal and he sends you deeper into hell.
Canonically Dave Grohl now.
Yeah. So it's actually in between Doom 1 and Doom 2 is where the story takes place.
Back in the day, cut that out or leave it in. Fuck it.
It's not getting cut out.
Back in the day of Doom, what I was trying to say, like a normal human being, those were called WADs, which I always thought was funny.
Yeah.
So it's Sigil. John Romero's Sigil is not technically a game; it's a mega WAD.
Where's all the data?
Yeah.
All right. See, you learn new things on this show.
Yeah,
that's what that means.
Yeah, it's like their little acronym for it. I just always thought it's funny. Releasing a WAD for Doom.
And we haven't mentioned the dumbest boss in this entire game, or any game on this show. Let's say, probably not true. I do not like.
Definitely not true.
I know, but the Spider Mastermind. I did not like that thing.
That boss always felt so unfitting You know, like why couldn't the Cyber Demon be the last one? It feels just more fitting.
That would have been cool. The
Or
freaking Spider Demon
literally, it should have been literally Satan.
that would have worked too, but no, it's a giant. It looks like Mother Brain got a hold of the thing from the first Fallout game and gave legs to it and is sitting there trying to eat you. Like,
you know what it is? It's literally the end of the It's TV show back in like the 90s.
Yeah.
Back to the 90s. It's literally the end of that, of the original
have a
It.
Gatling gun attached to it.
Yeah, it would have been a very different movie if the kids got Gatling guns, but arguably better.
Eat battery acid, you spider mastermind.
I actually, when I was seeing It Chapter 1 in theaters, I was sitting, I went to see with some friends, and there was a random group of girls sitting next to me that I was already very in love with by the second I saw them, because the girl walked in with a bomber jacket with every slasher villain on it. I was like, that is awesome. It's so cool. And like it had like Jason Voorhees and Freddy, and then there was like a little Ash Williams on the back.
Oh man,
yeah,
that's a chick you want to date.
I was like, you're so cool. And while we were watching the movie, she just kept whispering lines from the original. At some point, she just goes, "Eat battery acid, you slime." I was like, "Marry me." I love you.
All right, since you brought it up,
it
made me something else that came to my mind. Is my wife just got a tattoo of Jason Voorhees, Freddy, I think It on her arm. It's not finished yet, but yeah, that's what came to my mind.
I got to say hi to
marry Mike.
Voorhees.
I already married her.
When I went to Galaxy Con, oh god, what's the actor's name? I kept forgetting. The guy who plays Jason Voorhees, CJ.
There's a few of them, aren't there?
Yeah,
I don't know his last name, but CJ, yeah.
Yeah, CJ, whatever. CJ Graham. CJ Graham was there.
Nice.
he had a booth directly next to Alice Cooper. And you could get a photo. I'm so mad that I didn't get the photo op with both of them, because you get a photo with Alice Cooper and CJ Graham. And yeah, I talked to Alice Cooper and CJ Graham. They were both very nice dudes.
CJ Graham did part 6, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it's my favorite. All right.
I've never seen any of those either.
Oh God. Well, we're gonna have to rectify that.
Yeah.
I've never seen any what?
The Friday the 13th movies.
How?
You know, looking back, I don't understand, because I know your mom had all those movies, and I was terrified of horror movies for a long time.
Are you still that same way?
Let's put it this way: when my wife wanted to go see when The Nun came out, and we were up in Duluth for our anniversary. We didn't go see Nun. I'm like, nah, I'm good. I don't want to.
Okay, see, that's like a jump scare horror movie. Though. Friday the 13th. Those are like slasher movies. Those are like,
movie, yeah.
I don't know.
Those are like barely horror.
It's fun.
Yeah, it's just fun. You just go because you're like.
Slasher movies aren't meant to scare you. It's just.
Oh, now they won't scare me.
You just want to see young people have sex and then get killed for it. That's all it is.
Which we need to watch. So we'll need to watch all the Friday the 13th and then Jason X, so that the best joke in the entire series can really come to fruition. I love Jason X for that one scene that everybody who likes those movies should know about, where he's in the like hollow chamber.
Yeah.
It's like Jason's dream comes true.
You talking about the sleeping bag part?
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's have premarital sex and do drugs.
Yeah. Hard cut to him beating them to death against a tree. It's like the funniest comedy shot ever.
I love that, man. That was the best part of the entire movie.
It's the single best joke in the entire series.
I've seen the movie. Okay, I did see that movie. That's the only Friday the 13th movie I see, but I don't think it really counts for Friday the 13th.
It's like a love story to Friday the 13th. It's like, what if it's one of those like one-offs where it's like, what if Friday the 13th happened in Star Trek?
Yeah, it's like a Marvel what if.
Yeah.
What if it was
Pretty
in
much,
space?
But you know, everyone hated it when it came out, but I think we need those movies now. I think we needed stuff like that to come back.
Well, they tried to they tried to reboot that Friday the 13th too, and that absolutely sucked ass.
Well, they tried to reboot all the slasher movies. They tried to do Nightmare on Elm Street, and they were like, "Hey, you know how awesome Freddy is? What if he was a pedophile, blatantly?" What if we just spend half the movie talking about how much of a pedophile he is? You know that great villain that's just like kind of ambiguously a pedophile, and you just love to hate him. Now he's just gonna be a pedophile for most of the movie. Just make you feel icky.
All right. Anything you guys want to say about Doom still that we should talk about?
Doom has significantly less pedophiles than Friday the 13th.
Yes, it does. Oh, I do want to say how many official versions of Doom there are.
17 million.
I will start, sir. I have that link already pulled up. And no, it is not that number. We have Microsoft Windows. We have all the computer versions. It's even on the Solaris. I don't even know what the hell the Solaris is, but it runs Doom apparently.
Oh.
All right, it's on Sega 32X, the Atari Jaguar, Super Nintendo, PlayStation, 3DO. What the fuck? Sega Saturn, Game Boy Advance, Xbox 360, PlayStation 3. That's all of them.
It's also actually on a calculator. Somebody put it on a calculator.
Oh yeah, we used to do that shit all the time in school because it's also like a 15 kilobit game or something. It's insanely small, and so you can just put it on anything. So yeah, we put it on our like calculators, or you put it on like a flash drive. I mean, don't do that. That's stealing. But don't do that. But you guys do that. If you're in middle school, do that. Put like RuneScape and Doom on there, and the original GoldenEye.
Torment.
Listen, kids, this was before you could have like a tablet that you took to school, all right? The only thing you had to work with was like the shitty Lenovo's that the school would buy for you that could barely run Word.
You know what's weird, though, is I do know a little bit about the different ports. Apparently, with the Super Nintendo one, they had to change the like geography and like the height of things because somehow it would like mess up the system to where you couldn't go past certain things. And then in the Sega 32X version, it was so shitty that they couldn't have like more than like 2 or 3 enemies on screen at once.
Hey, I should play that version.
Which one? Was it the Genesis one? The Genesis one was one of the first games to get the M rating. I know that. That's a fun fact for everybody listening to the show, too. It was one of the first games with M rating. There was a port of it, though, where they had to take out the swastika because the game was banned in Germany.
You talking about Doom or Wolfenstein?
Doom. It was in Doom because it was an homage to Wolfenstein 3D.
Oh.
And like Germany was like Germany still does this. They're very against anything with any swastika.
No, I think they've lifted
they don't want
that
to
now.
happen again.
Oh, have they lifted that now?
I'm pretty sure they lifted it now. Like they were able to, like something in Wolfenstein 2 where they were actually like there was an announcement on the internet about it, about like how since they lifted the ban, you can now see these images in Wolfenstein 2 and stuff like that.
Well, all the Nazis have left Germany and they're in America now, so I think it's fair to say they've gotten over that. I mean, not to be too political or anything.
I was just going to make a joke like that. You took it from me. You stole it. All right.
They're all living in Alabama.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I live somewhere else. But you guys ready for listener questions? I got a few.
Sure. Yeah, I imagine there's going to be a bit for this one.
I got a few. First one from Sebastian. Do you rip and tear? Anybody?
Complete silence.
Bueller?
I just ripped it.
Bueller?
Gotta rip it.
Next one from Joshua Minette.
Was oh god, wasn't that the?
I forget. I know it's a Doom reference or something.
It's a quote. I can't remember
think
the
it's
exact
a song,
line.
actually.
Is it from the movie?
It is it's a song in the 2016 game, but it's it's a joke because I think when you pick up the Berserk, I think it might be one of like it might be one of the comic books or something.
I don't know.
Where there was a picture of the Doom guy after he picked up like a power up and he just yells "Rip and tear, rip and tear,
rip and tear."
Wait, from Joshua, do you think the metal music is in the world or the player's head as their personal soundtrack? So do you think you're insane, or is there music playing around him?
I go back and forth. Part of me likes to think that he's insane and that he's like hearing that in his head. Another part of me likes to think that he is actually singing it and it's just being filtered to the player. So he's just going around shooting zombies going like da 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 da. He's just like singing out loud like Kronk in Emperor's New Groove.
I mean, you would be freaking insane after all these killing all these things, being covered in blood and getting your ass scratched and shot fireballs at. You'd probably be a little crazy at the end of
it. He's probably just like Beavis and Butthead, like dan dan dan.
The entire game you just hear.
I know we mostly answered this earlier, but I just wanted to give a shout out for Michael K. Hughes. That's what our favorite weapon is. We'll see earlier, and then another one I got from Ron Huntone. How many times you I can't say this word. Break into air guitar solo while playing Doom? Never, sir.
Never.
I'm gonna be one of the few people that didn't love the music in this game. I probably would have loved it back if I played it back in like 2000 or something. But it's so aged now.
I absolutely love the music in here. Like I have so many like covers from like YouTube and all over like Apple Music that I just have them on my playlist.
See, I
Here.
was never a huge metal fan.
I went
What?
through that phase, but as you can see now, I'm not listening to metal music.
Like the most metal music I've ever listened to is probably System of a Down.
Yeah.
And that's like barely metal.
Well, would you say you still like the opening music,
I do.
E1M1?
I
Yeah.
do.
Okay.
I don't like any of it.
I like the sound in this game generally. Like the way, like just the sounds the demons make too is great.
I did like that. I did like the sound effects of this game. I did like the shooting, all those sounds. The music I didn't really care for. I mean, I actually played this with headphones. I'm trying to start playing stuff with headphones again. We'll see how that goes.
I have a weird disparity where I love like survival horror and horror in general and like super dark stories, but then I also like OK Go. Like I'll be listening to like Death Cab for Cutie and watching Friday the 13th. It just doesn't match up.
No, it does not.
I'm glad you like some of it, Mike.
I like what's the Flanders band? I like them.
Oh,
Talking about.
Have you not heard about these guys? Oh my
I've
god.
heard of it before, yeah.
How many 90s references can we make in this show?
No, this isn't okay. So
I know
this
it's
is
not 90s, but still, Simpsons is nice.
the Ned Flanders. If anyone hasn't heard about this, you need to get your life together because there is a metal band out there that is entirely based on Ned Flanders from The Simpsons. And
yeah.
Oh god, I'm looking up the band name right now.
They even dress like them too.
Oakley Dokley, that's the name of them.
Yeah.
And they have a song that just goes like diddly 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 diddly. I love that. That is hilarious and awesome. And those guys deserve like fucking medals. That is genius. They've actually played in a song. Sorry, I love.
You're good.
They actually played the end credits of The Simpsons in one of their episodes because there is a god.
All right. Next question from Jeffrey Gray. How did playing Doom at a very young age impact you? I didn't play it as a kid. Somehow.
I'm a violent psychopath now, so I think that's for playing like Simpsons Hit and Run.
I wouldn't say it really impacted me. I mean, I would say more like Resident Evil had an impact for some odd reason. The slower, like killing zombies as opposed to like running around shotgunning demons. I would say that had more of an impact.
Yeah, Doom wasn't the first game I played, so
I hope this isn't Chris's blood.
Oh yeah.
I'll give this to you, the master of unlocking. Oh.
You could have been a BFG sandwich.
Okay, that was funny. Okay.
I sadly had to scrap my Barry Burton outfit for GalaxyCon because it was like 100 fucking degrees. And there's no way I was wearing a vest in that fucking weather.
All right. Got like 3 more questions and we'll wrap up. From Mark Kalzer. Do you feel that the Shareware episode is the best one, which is episode 1? I do. That was my favorite.
I think the first episode in Doom is just the best. Which I mean, I don't think that's like in any way I don't think that's in any way saying like the rest of the game isn't great. It's all great, but that first episode is just so strong. It just gets you into that universe like, well.
The thing that really makes me dislike Doom as much is like the 4th episode. I really hate. I hate everything about the 4th episode. Like if it ended at 3. My take of the game would be a higher standard. I mean, I know, like, I didn't really enjoy it in the first place.
Well, you could have stopped at 3 because that's when original Doom stopped.
But the Ultimate Doom has all 4, so I played all 4. But I just don't like the 4th episode. I mean, I don't like the game that much. Like, I enjoy aspects of it, but the amount of time I got lost, like the par time would say 2 minutes, and my time would say 19 minutes, and I'm like, oh.
I think it depends on. Well, I play really slow. I play Doom really slow because
it matters what you're going for. If you're looking for secrets and stuff, it's gonna drag that time out.
I also just like walking around like the Terminator. It's just any enemy that comes up, just be like, bam, shotgun, fuck you.
I just get lost. Like I had to look up YouTube videos a couple times to figure out where the hell to go.
I think it comes down to like if you like first-person shooters or not. I think if you're really into first-person shooters, then play like the first episode of Doom, and you'll be really into it.
I'm not really into first-person shooters that much, but I can enjoy a good one when it's there.
It's it's a really well-made game. I mean, it's considered to be one of the best-made games of all time. So
it is a good game. It wasn't a game for me. But again, my taste for anyone listening to the show, I'm a very big RPG guy. and this is not an RPG.
It's very few RPG elements in Doom.
Yeah, there aren't
we have not done one RPG yet for Mike. He is starving.
We did Golden Sun. Golden Sun was like barely an RPG though.
Yeah, kind of.
We did
Yeah.
Fallout. Yeah.
Fallout. We did do Fallout.
You get him on a Final Fantasy, he probably won't shut up.
We need to go. Yeah, we're talking. We're trying to find a way to do a good RPG.
Yeah, there's a couple ideas we've been floating around with, but I don't know what will take off or what ideas will be acceptable to people who listen to this show. So we haven't done it yet. Because I could easily,
to be honest, it comes down mostly like time as well.
Let's do some Xenogears. That'd be amazing.
Yeah, that'd be a 6-hour episode right there, easy.
Yeah,
I think we have a list of like 12 or 13 RPGs at this point that are all like kind of able to be beaten in 1 week.
Even if we could do it in 2 weeks. I have a whole list of people who, in one of the RPG groups, who gave me tons and tons of shorter RPGs that we're going to try to work in this show eventually.
Oh, yeah. They're coming, people.
A pretty easy one would be like Paper Mario. That would be easy.
That's harder to get a hold of, though.
Crickets.
Let's do Legend of the Seven Stars. Let's do the SNES.
Yeah.
Let's just say fuck all pretense, and we'll just spend the entirety of 2020 playing Black Desert Online.
I don't even know what that is.
I don't know what that is either.
Like a massive, that's probably like one of the most true MMO. It's like Second Life MMO level MMO.
Oh, MMOs. I do want to
like MMO to like the extreme.
There is a part of me that really wants to sit down and do an episode just talking about Final Fantasy 11, but that's not happening. Okay, last question. Back to you. From Jake Terrell, a friend of mine, actually from another he hosts another podcast. Do you feel like these types of first FPS games can make a comeback?
Yeah, absolutely.
They already have. They have already. Yeah.
I mean, they made a comeback as like remastered games, but I also think that I am a firm believer. I'm about to start slamming my desk because every time I talk about this, I turn into like an angry politician. But I am a firm believer that companies need to like as much as Skyrim has been re-released. I do like Skyrim, and I do appreciate that. Like, you can play Skyrim on any console now. I think that's a good... I know people complain about that. I think that's a good thing.
They're going to be on calculators, too, soon.
Yeah. Yeah. with any luck. I actually want to get rid of calculators in school, but that's a whole other issue.
You don't have anymore. You got a phone.
They also want people to just be able to do, like, geometry in their fucking head. You know, like normal people can do.
Yeah, okay.
But, yeah, I think, like, companies that own these IPs to, like, things like Doom, it has Doom and Quake and Wolfenstein. Those games are like made for mobile now. Like that, it'd be so easy to throw them on the mobile market.
They're probably on there, aren't they?
The original Doom was on iOS.
I think, I don't know. I'll look right now to see if it's on Android, because Android master race. But
they're on iPhone, iPod Touch.
Okay. Like the original, like Pokemon Red and Blue, like that's a game that could so easily be put on mobile, and like Nintendo's just sitting on that. It's like you can make so much money
easily. Yeah.
I checked on my iPhone. I checked on my iPhone. It just has Bethesda Pinball Doom.
Yeah, I don't have Doom on my Android.
Used to be. It might be off, but it was.
I had it for years.
Yeah. It's just like all these old games. They're so small. Like so they're so small. They could easily be put on like an app store. It seems like it's such an easy way to market stuff. And I get that like companies don't want to sound like they're shilling stuff, I guess. But it's just like, just put it out there. People want to play, like people would love to play Doom on their phone. I would play Doom on my phone all the time.
Final Fantasy 7's on everything these days.
I can, but I also
that's true. Final Fantasy 7 is on everything. Yeah.
Hey, we get to play that remake in the next 5 years, the whole thing.
Episode 1 of the remake in 5 years.
Look, they can take their time with it, all right?
I don't care.
By that point, I will finally own a Switch, so.
All right, should we move on to Shelf or Box, I think? Anything you guys want to say about Doom still?
Just generally, the sounds are great. The monsters all have, like, great little... Is it the imps that make like the weird like snorting noises? They sound like pigs.
Snarling. I thought that was
or is that the demons? That's the demons.
Pinkies or whatnot. Yeah.
Pinkies. Yeah.
Pinkies.
They walk around just like, and you just hear that, and you're like, something's here.
The imps did the scratching noises, didn't they?
Yeah. Yeah, this game has just great enemy noises, and the deaths are all pretty. They all sound pretty fun.
Doom for me it's always going to have a place in my heart. Like since I was 8 years old, and I always wanted to play it at least once or twice a year, and I still go back to it to this day. Like if I just want to be devoid of any story, anything like that, just brainlessly killing things, Doom is where I go.
Yeah, that's a good place.
Mindless fun. Yeah.
Mindless fun. Yeah, I mean, same with Duke Nukem. It's all the same for me.
Put it on iPad, Id.
It was on iPad, but
And put some freaking fairy demons in there. Or pixie
Pixies.
demons for
Pixies.
mine.
damn it!
Just get the Pixies to do the soundtrack.
Hey, I bet you there's a Doom clone with pixies somewhere.
Some type of mod, probably.
I mean, there's
Well,
Doom clones and
there's,
everything.
I think the Doom clone with Pixies is what's that really shitty game that Inside Gaming played?
I got nothing.
Oh god, they played some like one of those really shitty just not generic first person shooters.
Why don't you look it up and I got something I want to say. Okay.
Yeah.
There is a Doom clone that I do really want to play. I didn't even know it existed. It's a DOS game.
Oh.
It's a Terminator, a Doom clone.
Oh, that sounds nice.
It actually looks really cool. I was looking at some. I need to try to find if we can actually I got to figure out what the hell name, but it takes place during the future of Terminator. So hell essentially.
Legendary. That's what it's called. Sorry.
Oh God, you're talking about that game. I know what you're talking about. I own that on 360.
Did you
I
really?
played it. Oh God, you have no idea my
God.
massive collection. I don't even know what the hell's in my collection because I haven't seen it in years.
Legendary is
Garbage.
so bad.
I tried it. It's terrible. I couldn't.
It's so bad, and it's like generic first-person shooter that feels very Doom. Just demon monsters come to take over New York, but it's like pixies and werewolves and griffins.
But you gotta jump. It's a shooter. One of my pet peeves, at least Doom didn't do this, is when the shooter decides. Wouldn't it be fun if you could jump?
Oh yeah.
Like I just don't like Star Wars.
I never needed. I mean, the only game that really did jumping correctly in FPSs was Halo.
I'm always pro jumping.
Metroid Prime.
Even if jumping does nothing, I'm always pro jumping.
I don't consider that a first-person shooter. That's more a first-person adventure game or something.
Like I love.
That's an FPS. It's definitely an FPS.
Yeah,
50% of the reason I love Mass Effect Andromeda is because you have a fucking jump back.
I never played Andromeda yet.
Oh boy, that's way too long to play for this show. It just came out not too long ago, but it's
You know what though? Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, that's it. It's pretty fun. I think it's fun.
This just triggered my memory. I actually back in the day did play Chex Quest.
Oh,
For
come
anyone
on.
who doesn't know, that was like a free cereal game that was basically Doom, but you had to use a spoon to send. I think it was like aliens.
You fight slime aliens.
Slime
and you
aliens.
get a gun too, and what you're doing is you're using transportation technology to warp them back to where they're from. You're not killing anybody.
Yeah.
Right.
Back to where they came. And I enjoyed Chex Quest 1 and 2 more than I enjoyed the first Doom.
What game?
Oh,
what
oh my
cereal
God.
was that for? Was that?
Rice Chex, corn Chex. I bought a lot of rice Chex when I was a kid. I had
Have you
lots of
guys
them.
have you guys heard of Super 3D Noah's Ark?
That sounds awesome.
So it's a Doom clone, but all about the Bible.
Yeah.
Oh, we're playing eventually.
It's
Just throwing
real.
out.
Don't
Yeah.
you take out like
This is real.
sheep in it or something?
What's up?
Oh, I've
Or
seen
don't you have to,
this.
like collect sheep or something. You have to like herd them.
Oh yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
It's
saw it
a
on.
non-licensed game too for Super Nintendo. I think it's one of the non-licensed
Well,
ones.
who the
if I
fuck would
remember
license it? The Vatican?
correctly.
That'd be great. The Vatican starts licensing games.
You just use a slingshot. That's it.
At the end, you have to fight a pedophile.
Yeah, oh god.
That'd be the accurate version.
But
You just take on Freddy. That's about it.
You don't get rid of him though. He just goes back like into hiding, and you don't talk about it.
Man. Oh, the legendary.
Taking on games my mom found. Taking on the Catholic Church.
I think we should do shelf box before we go on the other pieces. Stuart, why don't you go first?
Okay. I'm gonna shelf this. I was going back and forth on it initially. I was like, because I played Doom. It's not uncommon that I'll play Doom. I'll play it like every couple of years or so. Just play like through the first level, and I really enjoy it. It's such a well-made game, and I always go back and it's like, it's kind of like fallen out of like my favorite games. Though it's still important, but it's not like something I love. And then I'll go back and I'll be like, well, I should just play it again anyway. And then I play it again and I love it again. So I think I'm gonna have to put it on my shelf because it's super fun. I love the sound in it. I just love the enemy animations and like this game probably has my favorite exploding barrel of all time. You shoot the barrel
for
it
sure.
goes like that half frame where it looks like a comic book barrel exploding. It's great.
Yeah.
So for exploding barrels alone, it's going on my shelf.
How about you, Stefan?
Yeah, for anyone who doesn't know, this was the game that I picked for us to play, and the reason I picked it is because, I mean, obviously I'm a Doom fan. I have a weird history with Doom because, like, I don't play it every year, like Resident Evil or something. Like, it's not always something I put on the game system or anything, but it's, for whatever reason, there's just something about it. Just running around mindlessly, like we talked earlier, mindlessly killing demons. You just can't get that anywhere else. Like, no other game has that, especially at the speed it plays at, and the history it has behind it is also freaking insane and awesome. So it's going on my shelf. It's classic.
It wasn't the first game to have exploding barrels, was it?
It was the first FPS-esque game to have exploding barrels.
Okay.
Wolfenstein didn't?
Well,
No.
there's some old racing games that have exploding barrels. Like did Pole Position have exploding barrels? There's some old arcade games that had it where you'd be like racing down the track and they'd be on them. But I don't know if I think this is the first person shooter that had the concept of the exploding barrel. By the way, Exploding Barrels is a great name for a punk band if anyone needs a band name.
or dynamic lighting.
Or dynamic
Anyway.
lighting. Or
Pixie
Cyber
De-
Demon.
Pixie Demon.
Yeah.
Or Pixie Demon, yeah. Pixie Demon,
Pixie
Cyber Demon.
Demons.
Just play Doom and just anything in the game is a great band name.
All right, I'll go next. I think it's obvious for me. This is going on the shelf. Much as I really do like the cover art for this game, for some reason, it just never has connected with me. It's never been my game. I know it's a good game, but I don't enjoy it because it's not my style of game, and I never want to play it again if I can help it. So definitely going in the box. Rich, how about you?
Well, I think if you've listened to the podcast this long, I mean, you can already tell, but it's definitely on the shelf for me. It always will be. I'm staring at it right now across from me. like as far
Nice.
as far as the reboot too. You know, like
Just a spider demon in the back of your room. Just
it'll always be with me. I mean, it's one of those games like Chrono Trigger, like Final Fantasy VI. Doom is the one that I always will revisit.
You're making my heart beat there, sir. Talking about those.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Oh man, it's going to be on the show eventually. I don't know. I don't know if I want ready to do that 4-hour episode yet for Final Fantasy VI.
but not Pole Position?
No.
That almost sounds like a strip club.
Yeah.
It is. It has to be.
Super old racing game.
Oh, and Stuart, you said you had a special surprise for people who are actually still listening to this. We are going to do another of all intents and purposes.
Yes, well, I have to apologize first because I realized a look behind the curtain. We recorded Republic Commando a week early, the same day the day after we did Aladdin because I couldn't remember what else we played.
It's okay. I don't remember Aladdin either. That game just kind of happened.
I realized a couple of days later, I think I sent it in like the group chat. I was just like, "Oh fuck, we forgot the whale facts."
Yep,
totally forgot because sadly DJ doesn't like us anymore. That's not true. DJ's just busy, and the whale facts were such as things that we totally forgot about them. And so we are bringing back the animal facts. However, it's going to be a general sea-based animal facts, and the title of it is now. I'll see you in Shell, you son of a beach.
Wow.
Oh, God. Okay, that was a lot funnier than it should have been.
And now you know why I had to write it down.
And
And so to make up for it, I have three animal facts for us.
We don't talk about stuff a lot of this before the recording. We just do it on the show and see whatever the hell happens.
I thought of it about 4 days ago, and I almost asked you about it. I was like, no, it's just too funny. I've got to surprise them with.
I'm surprised you said that correctly the first time because I would have totally fumbled that.
Yeah, I was actually impressed you didn't stumble on that.
I've been practicing it like all fucking week.
So you stumbled on practice, though.
I was practicing the opening for the show all week. I've been waiting weeks to make that 22 reference on this episode.
I don't know if I'll be able to actually say what I want the original title to be because it's so hard. I think the original title was going to be God, it's gonna be so difficult for me to say now. I had to change it because I couldn't say it. It was Sally sold sea facts by the seashell shore or something. It was some crazy long one. And that was like a third of it. I was like, I cannot get through this. So now it's I'll see you in Shell, you son of a bitch. Dedicated to DJ.
Remember when DJ made us promise? He wanted us to promise on the show not to do any more whale facts. Yeah, that didn't happen.
That's why the official full title is, for all intents and purposes, stroke or colon. Well, what do we have here? Colon, I'll see you in Shell, you son of a bitch. That's the full title of the. Basically, as every time we change it, I'm just gonna add it on as a subtitle, so it'll just be never ending.
All right, what do you have for us today?
Okay, so the first of my 3 sea facts to make up for him is that the jellyfish is actually the longest animal in the world. There's a jellyfish that can grow 30 meters, which is actually longer than the blue whale.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, it's super disgusting looking. It basically looks like a living rope that somehow... It looks like a rope that was once alive that is now dead.
I'll take whale facts for 500, please.
Yeah, I don't have any whale facts. They're just general sea facts.
That's all that came in my head, damn it, for the joke.
The next fact is about my favorite animal, the octopus. The octopus has 8 legs. That's not the fact.
I was like, really, Stuart?
No. Octopuses are actually incredibly intelligent animals, and if you were to, you shouldn't do this, but if you were to take an octopus and put it inside of a glass jar and close the lid on it, the octopus could actually figure out how to open the jar and get out.
That's awesome.
Yeah, octopus is super adaptable, awesome creatures.
I can only contribute like water Pokemon facts.
Most of my sea facts are going to be about octopuses, probably. I really like octopuses.
Like I can give you some whaled facts.
My last fact is about, it's actually a 2-part fact. So my last fact is about a lobster. The lobster is technically an immortal creature. It is biologically immortal. So lobsters don't weaken with age. They just molt. So more or less when a lobster dies of old age, quote unquote, it's just because of some complication when they're molting. But theoretically, a lobster could live forever. It just continues to grow.
Huh. So it goes into a pot.
Yeah. And the second part of that fact is that the French romantic poet Gerard Nouveau had a pet lobster named Tybalt that he used to take on walks around the Paris gardens, and he'd have a silk ribbon as a leash. Yeah.
What was the name? Tybalt
the lobster.
I wonder if he named it after Juliet's cousin.
And I think
Romeo and Juliet.
I want to say Tybalt actually outlived him as well.
Wow.
Some say Tybalt's still living to this day.
Some say. Legends say if you go to the Paris coastline, even though there's not a coastline in Paris.
He's selling health insurance.
I got one last fact before
the creeks of Paris. You'll hear a lobster clip clopping in the middle of the night. Before
we conclude our whale, our whatever the hell we're calling it now, I got one last fact I want to add. Mega Blastoise is the most powerful non-legendary water Pokemon. I did not know that. All right.
Thanks.
Yeah.
There it is. The only solar type fully evolved Pokemon that can't learn Solar Beam.
I was also going to go with female Squirtles are incredibly rare, but I wasn't sure. But so.
We'll see if I know at least one person will get my reference there.
All right. I think we should introduce what game we're playing.
Yeah. Thanks, Grimsby.
All right. I'm going to introduce it since it was my pick for next week. We are going to dive into Parasite Eve next week.
Yeah.
I cannot wait for that. I've been playing it all week already, man. And Sergeant Rich is coming back for us for that next week episode too. So
this is true.
So for all you guys that get to introduce to an amazing game we're playing next week. All right. So I think that's about anything. I think it's about everything we
should have had him introduce it since he's a returning guest.
Yeah.
It would be the only time a guest could introduce the game on the next episode.
We have Christian returning too.
Yeah, that's true. I'll make him do it.
Okay. All right. And we start our plugs. First thing I want to say, if you guys get a chance, there'll be a link in the show notes. Take a listen to Unboxing Story. It's another podcast if you need another one in your rotation. Also, because I forget this every so often, I want to give big shout out to our intro and outro music, the Cool Kid Squad from Bobby, aka Mike Stoney. He's please listen to his listen to his music and watch his videos on YouTube. I kind of combine
Experience it however you want to experience it.
It's
Get
also
them
on
break down
SoundCloud.
Braille and feel the music.
From ZP Bite the Bullet. So please take a listen to that. And also, I'm going to give a shout out. I'm going to give a plug for Stuart and Stefan, even though since we never have anything to say. We are thanks to Stefan and Stuart, we are in the process of getting shirts designed. It might be another month or two, I think, before we can get everything up and running with the shop, but it's coming. There will eventually be shirts for this show.
Gotta get the shop up, and we got to wait for the shop to be verified, and then we gotta sell shit.
It's coming. There
It's
will
coming.
be links in the show notes eventually, and we'll talk about it when it's finally around.
I think
But
we have
it's
3 or 4 shirt plans right now
Yeah.
in the works.
Yeah.
Yep.
Getting there. So
Yeah.
we if you guys want a shirt to wear for the show, it's coming. They're
Actually,
actually-
5. We have 5 shirt plans because I've got 2 that
Oh damn.
I'm also doing.
We're going on I even know about, and I freaking
Yeah.
I talk to you guys every day almost. Okay. Rich, you're our guest. You have anything you want to plug for on the end of the show?
Oh God, not really. I mean,
No, we're not plugging God. No
Well,
God.
too bad. The episode doesn't end until you plug something. So looks like we're just here forever.
We're just gonna stay on this.
Definitely let it run, guys. All right, no,
Yeah,
I got an
I just heard-
Instagram. I
My
guess.
fans are off and it's 95 degrees. Please plug something.
I
Oh
got,
god, this is hell.
I got an Instagram. I guess.
Yeah, there you go.
At Ricky Red with 2 D's.
I also have an Instagram. It's got a bunch of chair pictures on it. That's a different story.
I have an Instagram too, but that's just full of pictures of the games upcoming. That I hope you follow.
And I'm drunk.
Yeah, I've got a strawberry banana smoothie that I made.
All right. I
That's
want to thank everyone for listening to this episode. We all talked about Doom. Not really. We just talked about the 90s. But I want to thank everyone for taking their time out to listen to us. And everyone have a wonderful day. Bye, everybody.
Bye. Bye, too.
Bye.
Thanks for having me. Bye.
Thanks, Grimsby.
Dun, 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 dun.